Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're always looking for compelling ideas, trying to get some fresh insights. And today, well, we're diving into something really fundamental, this question that humans have always asked. What makes someone truly wise? And maybe even bigger, how do we get beyond suffering? It's this deep longing, right, for real understanding, for liberation. You see it everywhere in human history. So this deep dive, it takes us way back, thousands of years, actually, to this ancient, really profound dialogue. It's from the Sutta Nipata, a section called Nandamāṇavapucchā 7.
Yeah, and what's so great about this one, I think, is it's not just some dusty old text we're analyzing historically. It feels very alive. It's a direct conversation, between this seeker, Nanda, who's clearly genuine, and the Bhagava, who people often refer to as the Buddha. And Nanda's asking these huge fundamental questions about spiritual truth, about what real liberation actually is. It's quite intimate, really. Strips away a lot of the later complexity.
Okay, so our mission here is to really unpack the Bhagava's definition of wisdom and freedom in this exchange.
Yeah.
And fair warning, it might not be what you expect. It's pretty unconventional, I'd say. Challenges a lot of our usual ideas about what understanding means. We think this perspective, it's powerful. It might genuinely kind of shake up how you think about liberation. So let's start right at the beginning with Nanda's first question. It's in verse 1077. And it feels very relatable, actually. He basically asks, look, people talk about munis, wise sages in the world. What do they mean by that? Is it someone who knows a lot? Or someone who lives a certain way, like their livelihood?
He's asking, is it about knowledge accumulation or is it about, how you live your life day to day? Classic question. And the Bhagava's answer, right away in the next verse in 78, it's quite striking, very direct. He says, not by views, nor by what one has heard, nor by knowledge do the skillful ones call someone a muni here, O Nanda.
Wow, okay. So right off the bat, he's dismissing the usual suspects. Not fixed beliefs, not tradition or hearsay, not even just knowledge.
Exactly. It's a powerful counter-definition. He's saying, look, those things we often point to, those external markers, that's not how the truly skillful ones define wisdom.
So if it's not about views or what you've heard or knowledge, then what is he pointing to? What does real wisdom, being a muni, actually look like according to him?
Right. And he immediately shifts the focus, turns it inward. He describes a true muni as someone who is free from defilements. The Pali is visanikatva. It means they've cleared out the mental junk, greed, hate, delusion. And they're unafflicted, meaning, this deep inner peace, not constantly bothered and without longing, Nirasa. So beyond that constant pull of desire.
Okay, so it is all internal qualities then. A seat of being, not about what you've learned or what rules you follow on the outside.
Precisely. It's a profound shift from external achievements to an inner landscape.
Okay. But Nanda, he's still observing the world around him, right? In the next verse, 1079, he brings up what he sees. He says, look, I see all these ascetics and Brahmins, and they claim purity based on all sorts of things. Their specific views, what they've heard from tradition, virtue and vows.
Celibatenapi, that's the term for sticking to moral rules and ascetic practices.
Right. And Nanda says they claim purity in many other ways, too. So he asks the Bhagava, point blank, if they follow these paths, do they really cross over birth and old age? And we should probably clarify that birth and old age here, it's classic Buddhist shorthand for suffering, the whole cycle of existence, samsara.
It's the big question. Are these conventional religious paths, these practices and beliefs, enough to actually end suffering? And the Bhagava's answer in verse 1080, it's completely unambiguous. He says, even if they follow those practices, they do not cross over birth and old age.
Wow. That's pretty definitive. No hedging there.
No. It's a clear statement. Simply sticking rigidly to doctrines or traditions or even virtuous actions by themselves, it's not enough for real liberation. It implies something deeper is required.
Right, so just following the rules, even the ethical ones, isn't the final answer. And Nanda, he doesn't just accept that easily, does he? He pushes back. In verse 1081, he challenges the Bhagava. He says basically, okay, if you're saying these people, who are often seen as very devout, are not crossed over the flood, Anugathias is the word, I think.
Yes, Anugathias, not having crossed the flood of suffering.
Then Nanda asks, who has? Who in the world of gods and humans has actually crossed over birth and old age? It really ups the ante, doesn't it? If the usual ways don't work, what does?
It does. It forces the issue. And this leads us straight to the Bhagava's ultimate answer in verse 1082. This is really the heart of this deep dive, I think. First, the Bhagava clarifies something important. He says he doesn't mean all ascetics and Brahmins are stuck, covered by birth and old age. But then he describes those who do cross over the flood, Ogatina, And listen to this. He says they abandon all. Pahaya sabe.
Abandon all. What does that entail?
Well, he specifies. It includes abandoning what they've seen so, their views, their dita, what they've heard sutta tradition, their perceptions or consciousness mata, and even get this, their virtue and vows silabata.
Even virtue and vows, the things Nanda just mentioned.
Yes. And also, all many forms anakarupam, which likely means abandoning identification with various states or forms of being. But here's the absolute crucial part, the positive aspect. They do this while fully understanding craving tanha and being without defilements and the savas.
Okay, hold on. Abandoning views, tradition, and virtue and vows.
Yeah.
But also fully understanding craving and being free from defilement. What's the core message here? What's the implication of putting those together?
Exactly. That's the mind bender. The radical implication is that true liberation isn't about adding more things. It's not about piling up knowledge or practices or beliefs, however good they seem. It's actually a profound act of letting go, a path of subtraction, you could say. But, and this is key, it's coupled with deep, penetrating insight into craving, into tancha, the engine driving the suffering cycle.
So it's not just emptying out, it's emptying out and understanding the very thing that makes us want to fill up again.
That's a great way to put it. It's like, you don't just stop eating junk food, you understand why you crave it. That understanding is part of the freedom. It's a total reorientation away from accumulation towards insight and release.
Wow. Okay. And Nanda.
Yeah.
Does he get it? How does the dialogue end?
Beautifully, actually. The last verse, 1083, is Nanda's response. He just affirms it completely. He praises the Bhagava, calls him the great seer Gautama. And he says, yes, he understands now. Those who abandon all those things, the seen, the heard, the perceived, the virtue and vows, and fully understand craving and are without defilements, yes, those are the ones who have truly crossed over the flood.
So he has that aha moment. He grasps this.
Yeah.
This quite radical path.
He does. It shows the power of that direct pointing from the Bhagava. Nanda truly gets it.
So let's bring this back to us and to you listening.
Hmm.
What could this dialogue mean for you right now? This idea of abandoning all. Your views, maybe strongly held traditions, even your fixed ideas about what spiritual practice should look like. It's not about becoming nothing, right? It's presented as a path to deeper understanding.
Right. Especially understanding craving, that relentless drive.
Yeah. And how does this ancient wisdom maybe speak to us today? We're constantly accumulating, aren't we? Information, opinions, affiliations, experiences, always looking for that next thing, that shortcut maybe to feeling okay, to well-being. What if, as this text suggests, the real path involves letting go?
It's a challenging thought. So just to kind of wrap up this deep dive into the Nandamāṇavapucchā, the key takeaway really is that according to this specific conversation, the way to cross the flood, to find liberation from suffering, it's not found in just piling on more knowledge or sticking rigidly to rules or doctrines or even just doing good deeds mechanically. Instead, it seems to lie in this pretty radical detachment, letting go of views, traditions, practices, but crucially, combining that with a really deep understanding and abandoning of craving itself.
So here's our final thought to leave you with. In a world that's always telling us to get more, gain more knowledge, more certainty, more opinions, more stuff, what if the most powerful path to freedom, to genuine understanding, actually lies in the opposite direction, in the courage to let go? What fixed ideas, what beliefs, maybe even what comfort zones are you holding on to right now that might just be keeping you from your own crossing of the flood? Something to think about. Until next time on Deep Dive.